Okay, so today, me and my friend, who I'm not going to show in the video, are going to be doing another great video about your favorite thing in the world, which is flags. The last flag video that we did, the first flag video, was about gender flags, and today we're going to be doing some sexuality flags. And you're going to find your sexual orientation? Okay. And there's not as many of these as there are for the gender flags, so this video is probably going to be shorter. It's probably not going to be like an hour and something minutes long. I don't know, who knows? We'll probably like get into a little bit of them, but some of them are just kind of very atypical. So, yeah. And like I did with the last one, I'm going to put the pictures of the flags in this too, and they all come from the same group, page, whatever you want to call it, on DeviantArt, which I think is called Pride Flags. But none of them are like offensive or anything. Obviously, no one's sexual orientation is offensive, unless it's meant to hurt someone else.
Unless it's pedophilia.
Yeah, unless it's something like that hurts children or has the lack of consent, right? So I don't think any of these are like this. I'm pretty sure I wouldn't just throw in a really disturbing flag. Okay, so we're gonna start the list, and like I said, these are all sexualities, and we're gonna, at least I'm going to, probably get some input from my friend about these sexualities and kind of go over them. And there's going to be like subcategory flags of a major sexual orientation, like gay, straight, bi. Those are kind of like the major ones.
Those are kind of blanket terms.
Yeah, they're like a major category, and they have subcategories of like biflux.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're going to start. The first one is called, this one's great. You're going to just love this one so much, okay?
Right.
The first one is called CUPIOSEXUal. Being sexually attracted towards characters that you create in literature, writing, and visual arts, etc.
Your own creation?
Yeah.
To me, that's just like the autosexual.
I agree, because it's like, I created this. This is an extension of myself. You can't really create an outside extension of yourself, because if you create it, like, that's still you. This would be like me being attracted to characters that I create for my comics.
Honestly, I feel like this might actually happen a lot more often than someone might assume. You kind of have to like love it in order for it to be something you continue to use.
Yeah, I also think that only you can create what you think is like the perfect thing that you would be attracted to. So I guess that's good for you. The next one, I don't know how to pronounce this one, but it's called enanteic. Attraction to the opposite gender, anti-gender, of yourself. The term does not mean different sides of the masculine-feminine split, or other complementary genders, as they are not true opposites. I guess that means everything's on the spectrum, which is true. I don't like the idea of opposites, though, because male and female aren't opposites. They're part of the same spectrum. It's not even, there's no such thing as opposite. You can't just choose what is the opposite of yourself. I guess you can, but that has to be for both the people in the sexual relationship to choose.
Maybe it's really visual.
Maybe. Like presenting?
Yeah. Like Vin Diesel
and Betty White.
Yeah.
That's my own. Anyways, that's fun. We're going to go to the next one. It's called DOLORSEXUAL. Feeling pain when you experience attraction. From Latin, dolor meaning pain. It's also Spanish.
Like actual physical pain?
Yeah. Well, I guess. I mean, it could be both. Like, ooh.
That would suck.
Like, do people actually like feel pain when they feel attraction?
I don't know.
Some people, I guess that's like a repressed sort of thing. Like, oh, I feel attraction to this person that my culture, isn't either aware of or my culture represses on purpose because they think it's weird. So I feel pain when I feel attraction because my culture has made me think that it's wrong. Maybe.
Or maybe it's an actual physical thing where it's like, dang, that person is so attractive, I am getting turned on and it hurts.
Oh,
Like,
so sexy it hurts. That sucks, I guess.
or it could be like, I'm upset that I'm attracted to this person because they're not what I want to be attracted to. You're a guy and you're like, dang, I think I like guys. And I hate this.
I feel pain. Okay, let's go on to the next one. The next one is like aesthetic. It's called GOTHSAPPHIC. A term for a sapphic person who has with a preference for goth girls. Lesbians. In Greek mythology, there's this island called Sappos. That's where the lesbians live.
Oh.
And I was like, they probably based whatever island Wonder Woman came from on that island.
That one seems just more like a preference, not like an absolute. It's like, I'm only sexually attracted to somebody when they're wearing like a catsuit.
That's what these people are like, yes. But only goth girls, or goth people who identify as goth girls. Okay, the next one is called CUPIOSEXUal. Only experiencing romantic attraction to someone after experiencing sexual attraction to that person. I'm currently making a video. Yay! Screw everybody! Well, it's a sexuality flag video. Anyways, CUPIOSEXUal, where you only feel romantic attraction after sexual attraction.
That's normal.
Yeah, it probably is more normal. Like, after you go out to the club and bring them home, and then you wake up the next day and they're still there, and it's like, oh, I still like you.
Like, one night stands.
Except for one night stands don't always lead to a romantic relationship.
Yeah, but it happens a lot.
Yeah. This next one I think is kind of like the lower sexual. It's called initiasexual. When someone experiences attraction and wants a relationship, but doesn't want or is repulsed by actions associated with that type of attraction.
So, it's actually.
Except for like, I want to have a sexual relationship with this person, but the idea of having a sexual relationship with this person repulses me. Like, I want this, but it's nasty. Maybe it's like a biology thing.
It sounds just more like genital repulsion as opposed to sexuality.
I think it's almost the same as the lower sexual one, like, except for instead of peeing, it's like, ew. Let's go to the next one. Next one is called asexual, where a person can appear to have an attraction, but in reality, they do not feel that attraction at all. A case would be an asexual person likes to flirt, make sexual jokes, and look sexy, but they're doing so because they enjoy it, not because they have the goal of attracting someone or for a sexual relationship. This is literally in the sexuality flags.
That's not sexuality.
Right. My sexuality is making dirty jokes. It has nothing to do with your sexuality, I guess. I mean, it's more like talking about it, I guess. But like, asexual is not a thing because there's not even a relationship happening. Not for the goal of attracting someone for a sexual relationship, then it's not a sexuality. Let's go to the next one.
Yeah.
Sclerosexual. Attracted to people depending on the weather. Only feeling attraction, probably sexual attraction, I assume. It's in the sexuality flags. When it is cold.
Like, we're in a cave and it's snowing outside. We have to get naked and snuggle to stay warm.
Oh no! My sexuality is survivalism.
Yeah. Why when it's cold? Everything shrinks when it's cold.
I don't know, when it's cold, you're like, put on creepy Christmas music that's really, really disturbing. And then you go sit in front of your couch and it's cold and you put on a fire and then it's like, you know, it's like those movie scenes where there's a shoe on the ground and then it like follows this trail and there's the pants and there's a bra. And,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what you are. But only when there's like a blizzard outside.
So that's like the only time you can feel that attraction? Is that what it's saying?
It says only feeling attraction when it is cold.
Well, that sucks for people who live here.
Well, I was gonna say you can't be that if you live here, but that's not up to me.
I guess it's really up to whoever to decide if the weather is cold enough for them.
The next one's the opposite. PROCULSEXUal. Attraction, people depending on the weather, only feeling attraction when it is warm.
I love those sweaty genitals.
Sorry, boss act.
That's gross. Like, it has to be hot for you to get hot.
Ew, swamp.
Yeah.
Boob sweat.
I think that just the thought of it, smelly people, well, they get smelly anyway. It's just gross to me. I can understand the cold one more, but not that.
I'm already sweaty and dying. That just makes it worse. Maybe that's my preference. I feel like I need to put deodorant on my whole body. Anyways, yeah, let's go to the next one. Disassociate sexual. Someone who disassociates regularly while engaging in sexual, romantic, etc. activity, often leaving the individual confused as to what their orientation is. Do you get to choose to disassociate? Because, like, it sounds like a result of abuse to me, but that's not for me to decide. But, like, it's like, when you disassociate during sexual acts, it's like they're kind of just there, things are happening around them, but, you know, they're not there.
Yeah.
They're kind of just going through it. I can just imagine, like, some poor person just, like, taking it.
That kind of sucks, though, because if you're having sex and you're into it at first, but the act of doing it makes you not present,
Yeah.
that's really sucky. Because even if you want to, then you can't control it. You're not there. Like, that sucks. That's really sad. Because if it's consensual and if it's fun,
It's
you
like,
can't enjoy it.
yeah, because it's kind of like blocked out whether or not you want it to or not.
Would it be rude of me to not consider that a sexuality? That's like a disorder. Sexualities aren't disorders.
There's something there that's blocking your ability to enjoy the things that you want. Okay. I think we, like, destroyed that one.
Yeah.
Let's go to the next one. This one I'm going to say, I don't count it either. Because it's not in this freaking realm. Somniosexual. Only feeling attraction while dreaming. Or attraction only to people in dreams. I'm only attracted when I'm asleep. Wet dream. I don't have a sexuality in the waking world. It's the only world. If you are a non-sexual person while you're awake, then you're just not sexual.
Maybe it kind of connects to like the very first one, where you're attracted to a thing you create, but like it's very specific that that's only happening to you while you're just unconscious.
Yeah. Like, it makes me think of, like, old times when people are like, oh, I saw this woman in my dreams and I have to have her, or I can't wait to sleep tonight so I can see this woman. But that's like a thing that went over into reality. Like, you're still thinking about it.
Like when you're awake, you're still having that sex.
Right.
So it's not that, whatever that.
It's not. I don't know. I don't want to, like, discount any of these, but if your sexuality doesn't exist on this plane, and on this plane you are not a sexual being, then you are asexual or on the ace spectrum of sexuality. The next one, panthosexual, an orientation defined by it being affected by grief. It's like, I went to a funeral and I was like, dang, like my grief made my sexuality arise, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. For me, I'm not experiencing that, but to me that sounds like if you lost someone important in your life and then you're attracted to people who are like them or who remind you of them. Or like, my dad died, I like guys that are like my dad.
Or even if it's not like grief due to death, like I just had something terrible happen to me, like I just was diagnosed with AIDS. Help! If you know what I mean. But I don't know, I'm not sure if that's exactly what it means, but if it's affected by grief, isn't that almost everyone's sexual orientation? If your sexual orientation isn't affected by grief, I would think that's a little weird. Like, I don't want it anymore, I'm sad.
It's like a fleeting thing. I think it's happening to you when you're at your peak of grief. And you're like, I need physical affection.
Or maybe I don't need physical affection. I think it was very.
Yeah. Depending on the person.
Or depending on how you feel. Or they feel.
Depending on the grief.
Depending on the situation. Anyways, next one. No cis-sexual? Attraction to all genders, but having that attraction to cisgender people fade once it is known that someone is cis. Or not feeling attraction to people until it is known that that person is not cis.
It's the exact thing of when someone cis is like, oh, you're trans, I don't like you anymore. But instead of it being a trans person, it's this person.
I understand that. I don't want to be attracted to cis people. Like, I'm not attracted to cis people. And you're telling me that you're cis? I'm not attracted to that.
Yeah. I don't think that's happened to me, but I understand it.
Let me know if your gender changes. Then I might consider. Say that you're like a gender fluid person and someone is like only attracted to you on your non-cis days.
Mm-hmm.
Like, dang, that's unfortunate for you on your cis days.
Yeah.
Cis days. It just sounds like a period.
Yeah.
Anyways, there's that. Anyways, next. The next one is, I can't believe there's a stupid flag for this. It's called CUPIOSEXUal. Desiring a sexual, romantic, platonic, alterous relationship, but not feeling attraction towards anyone in particular.
That also happens a lot.
But all it is I desire a relationship, but I'm not feeling attraction towards anyone right now. I don't feel attraction towards anyone especially right now, but I want to have this attraction. It's just so dumb, okay? It's dumb, okay?
The sexuality is the you not looking part. That's what that's saying. Anyway.
The next one it's called panasexual. Someone who doesn't feel sexual attraction for anyone under any circumstances and does not engage in sexual activities, nor has any interest, academic, critical thinking in any kind of sexual activity, and are not interested in conversation involving anything about sex or sex-like activities, compared to regular asexual, which doesn't imply whether or not you're okay with sex, only that you feel sexual attraction. This is just like, nope, no means no. No is permanently no, all the time, every day, no. Absolutely no forever.
Yeah.
That's my sexuality, is no. That one, yeah, that's great.
Yeah. Don't need to speculate about that.
I don't understand, like I said before in some of these other flags, I don't understand why some of these are in the sexuality flag category, because a couple of them are just not. The next one isn't. It's called platonifocal. When you put more emphasis on your platonic relationships than your romantic and sexual relationships. That's not sexuality. It means you choose to be more involved with your non-sexual, non-romantic friends than whoever it is that you are sharing a romantic sexual relationship with. That's great. I mean, do what you want to do, but like, I feel like that kind of lowers the person that you're, doing it with to a lower level than friend.
To be honest, that doesn't happen a lot. Like, people put all their effort and time into a new relationship.
Right. And if you don't, it's kind of weird. Can you imagine, like, this is my new bae, I'm gonna avoid them and put more emphasis on my friends. Like, my sexuality is, I don't care as much about my partner as a typical person would. How does it make any sense?
I have a story.
Okay.
Okay, so in 7th grade, this guy asked me out, and I said okay, because I wasn't really, like, into him, but I wasn't, like, I think I was just more excited to not be single. But he asked me out, right? And I was like, okay, I guess, I don't really know you, but okay. And then he didn't talk to me for, like, months after that. He literally, like, asked me out and then stopped talking to me.
Who, like, hey, let's get together. And then it's like, okay, we're together, but, like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go do whatever I want, but I'm just gonna say I have, a person that I'm with.
Yeah. So I think that's just, you just get to have a label.
I'm gonna go focus on my friends now. Bye.
Yeah.
That's dumb. Next one?
Yeah.
The next one is called PROCULSEXUAL. Procul is Latin for far away, or from a distance, and describes someone who has attraction, feelings for other people that they're sure they can never begin a relationship with. For example, fictional characters and celebrities. So, like, we're watching Horror Story. Angela Bassett just saunters on screen with her new freaking weave.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm so sad, but this is the best thing I've ever seen in my life.
I think this might be me.
You're only attracted to people that you'll never be with.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. But I think with this, it's all like, because it's never going to happen, you can imagine your relationship with them however you want it to be.
Makes sense.
But I mean, it's also like a little bit delusional.
Like, it's sad though, because I would hate for that to be my only sexuality.
Yeah.
I would like to say that that kind of applies to a lot of people, especially people who watch porn. You're never gonna be with a porn star. Yeah.
Yeah. I think even like outside of that, it's a standard thing.
Yeah, like, because you get all these sorts of things just in the media, like, aimed at you, targeted at you, and it's like, how are you gonna not? Like, how are you gonna not be attracted to Angela Bassett?
If this thing is the only kind of attraction that applies to you, it has to be like sexually very frustrating.
Yeah.
So that sucks.
The next one is called CUPIOSEXUal, an acidic orientation that gradually dissolves other orientations until it is the only orientation.
But what if you're pansexual?
That means the pansexual dissolved all the other ones, like straight, gay, bi, ace.
But then there would be nothing.
No, there would only be one left at the end.
Oh.
Like, for example, when I was in high school, no, it was like middle school, maybe even earlier, I was like, I am straight, with kind of fluxes. Well, maybe it's major fluxes. Anyways, I am like hetero flux for this very long time of my life. And then it's like women. And I was like, yes. And then like the major sexuality, like bisexuality, comes and it's like eating the other one and dissolving it like a pod plant.
The bi is dissolving the straight?
Yeah. You know, as you age, as you get older and mature, and you experience more people, you become something else, and then that thing kind of like absorbs it, and it's gone, and it all becomes this major big thing.
There was like a year-long period in high school where I was convinced that I was gay because there was no guy in my dumb high school that was remotely attractive in any way to me, and I'm like, but then like the gay kind of only a little bit went away, and then everything came back. So I don't know. The gay dissolved into whatever it was at that point after that, which is probably just bi.
Okay, let's go to the next one. The next one is just great. The next one is called Sexual. CIN. Experiencing attraction really easily regardless of gender.
Oh. I think anyone, even like people who identify as straight, can find other people attractive, just not like, I gotta get with that kind of attractive. You know?
My sexuality is I'm very easily attracted to people. Thanks. The next one is CHRONOSEXUal. A pattern of orientational fluidity and or fluxing that is based on the time of the year.
So the cold and hot.
Make me a different sexuality.
Oh.
Or make one of my sexualities come forth more.
Like in you have seasonal affective disorder, but like with genitals.
Like sexuality. Like, it's March. I guess I'm pansexual again. I feel like this is one of those moon girl things where it's like my menstrual cycle changes my sexuality with the moon.
Yeah.
So when the moon's full, I'm a lesbian. You know?
Yeah.
At the winter solstice,
No.
I'm bi. Okay, we're gonna go to the next one. IMPLOSEXUAL. Never being satisfied with your orientation due to constant self-doubt, causing one to search and seek out something that fits as perfect as possible. That is literally
Everyone.
sexuality questioning.
Yeah. That just sounds like not even like stressful. It's just like, oh, I'm confused right now. It'd be cool if I could figure it out.
Yeah.
Like your sexuality isn't your confusion, but it's not exactly what you want because you don't know.
Like,
And that's your whole life. You don't know. That's sad.
if it is your whole life, I guess you can count questioning as your sexuality.
Yeah.
Like, my sexuality is what breakfast item?
Sausage or
Sausage or Cheerio? Sausage or donut?
Anyway.
Yeah, the next one. It's called sensualarian. Someone who blurs the lines between romantic, platonic, sensual, and sexual relationships There is no clear-cut distinguishing mark between the variety of types of attraction. For example, you might have a girlfriend by traditional standards, but you feel they provide more than just a romantic partnership. Ideal for individuals who feel that they have the emotional capacity to love numerous individuals at once, but they don't feel polyamorous. It is a good fit for them, or individuals who feel like traditional relationship terms, girlfriend, best friend, friends with benefits, etc., are too rigid to describe their own feelings and relationships. It's like, I don't want to fit your terms. Like, I transcend relationship terms. I want to call this person this, but they're also this and this and this.
It just sounds like friends with benefits, but like multiple friends, and also like more feelings, but just no label.
I have enough emotions for all these great things, but I don't want you to label it as polyamorous. I want you to call me a sensualarian. Like, I'm not so-and-so's girlfriend. I am their every single random thing, or more than this. I'm more than their girlfriend. I'm slightly less than their girlfriend.
Yeah, it's complicated.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not just a boyfriend. I'm an ultra boyfriend. Or something like that.
The next one is called REFLECTISEXUAL. When your orientation changes depending on your partner's orientation, it's difficult. I mean, because if their sexual orientation changes, why would yours change too?
See, I'm like, that sounds more like a gender thing, where if it's like, I'm with this guy, and he decides that he likes guys, oh, I can't now. So I don't get how that benefits you in a relationship, like that kind of relationship.
If you're with somebody and their orientation changes, what does your orientation changing have to do with them?
I don't know.
I'm trying to think of a situation where it would make any sense at all. It would be beneficial if you have an open relationship, if you're both the same, like I'm in a relationship with a woman and we're both homosexual. And suddenly she goes, I'm bi, and I say, oh, I'm bi too, and then we can have an orgy.
Yeah.
That would be beneficial if you're in an open relationship.
Like, it doesn't make sense if it's just two people. Like, if say two girls, and one of them is like, I don't like girls anymore, I like men, then you're not that, is what they're saying.
Like, if their orientation changes and you're cut out, then that sucks. But it's like, I get it, your sexual orientation can change when your partner's changes. But that just sounds miserable.
There's no other way than to just, like, rip the Band-Aid off. Like, there's no transition into saying, hey, I'm not attracted to your kind anymore.
Your kind? Dang.
Yeah.
That would suck if that was your sexual orientation. Like, my sexual orientation changes when my partner's changes. So I'm constantly dumped, like, without their or my choice.
When you put it like that, it's like I'm constantly not satisfying anyone, even myself.
Outside of the very, very, very uncommon situation, which I just presented earlier.
Yeah.
Where both people become bi, I guess, or more than one singular kind of attraction. If you go from one to more than one, great, and you're still attracted to that same person, even though your sexuality changed, to have that something else. That's about it. The next one is called agensexual. A genitalia repulsed asexual.
I don't think it's a sexuality disease.
Repulsed.
It usually stems from some kind of abuse.
That, or you're just asexual because you don't like. But, like, that's just a kind of asexual. I'm not saying that, and you can't be this, but it's so specific, why can't you just be an asexual? And my reason is I don't like parts. That's like saying you're a bisexual person, and there's like a subcategory of bisexual. It's like bigenital sexual. What's the point? Like, you don't need to add that part. I mean, I guess you can add that part, but the sexuality part literally means that kind of thing.
I think people automatically, like, already assume it's like, hey, I'm asexual. And then another person might assume, oh, if you're asexual, then you're automatically repulsed by body parts and by the act of sex. But I think where the stem of ace starts is ace is just not interested. But that is actual repulsion. And I think people assume that only that one is ace.
Oh.
So people are like,
I mean, yeah, I get that asexual people don't like the actual act, but they're okay with having parts. But like, I still feel like it's too specific. Like, it's more like your reason. I'm this kind of asexual. I need a flag. I'm only attracted to goth girls. I need a flag.
I am a white person who only likes black people. I need a flag.
I think there is a flag for that.
There probably is. So I mean, that's cool that it's like you can be specific as to your intentions if you're in a relationship. Like, literally, don't ever whip anything out, or I will eat you.
I will be offended,
Yeah.
and I will get the freaking shears. So, anyways, yeah, what we're saying is not all asexual people are repulsed by danglies and hoo-haws.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, ace people are great. And all people on the ace spectrum are great. And everyone on every spectrum is great as long as you're not a friggin' map. Anyways, next one. The next one is called REPULSSEXUAL. An orientation characterized by repulsion to sex and romance. I don't think it even is for yourself only. Like, you see it and you hate it.
I think I'm repulsed by people who do that thing in public.
Yeah, people, I don't like PDA, that's gross. Have you seen that one tweet where the guy's like, if you're making out in the hallway, you need to move out the way, or I will crop dust you. I'm about to be late for failing my final.
No? That sounds great.
What I used to do is see people in the hallway and look through the windows because I'm about to sit in that hallway when I was still going to West. And I would open up the doors and be like, get a room! And then close it and run off.
Oh. If you're in that specific sexuality, then you just need a flag to be super hateful.
This is offensive to my sexuality. Like, can you stop? This is a hate crime.
Yeah.
This is a hate crime you committing PDA against me right now. This is disgusting.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do this. This is the intermission. The next one is called tempisexual. When your orientation changes depending on what time of day it is.
I feel bad for people who have this, because who has time?
Apparently them. Like, wake up in the morning and I'm a lesbian. But I go to sleep thinking of the D.
Like, in a day, and it fluxes so much. Like, what's happening to you to make you think of it all day?
It's not a thought, maybe it just kind of happens, like it's a where gender.
It's like the spidey sense. Like, oh my god, my earrings are starting to tingle. That one just seems like you gotta be surrounded by all these different types for you to know that it's fluctuating so much.
But like, why does the time of day matter? It's gotta be like an energy thing, like, I don't have enough energy to be a lesbian.
Like, this is the time of day when vagina is the prettiest.
In the bright light. It just glistens deeply in the sun. They're like, it is mid-dusk. Time to do the flippity-floppity. Okay, let's go to the next one. The next one is like grandparents.
Ew, what?
Unisexual. Feeling attraction towards one person and one person only for advanced periods of time or one's whole lifetime. You are attracted to them regardless of their gender, sexuality, or changing appearance.
Oh.
That's how my grandparents were.
Never attracted to anyone else in their whole entire life.
I'm not sure. They got married when they were young.
They had enough attraction for each other to stay together.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I mean, I obviously don't know the inside of their relationship, so. I guess there are some people who have static attraction. I don't.
So only really old people are having this.
Or people who have been in a long relationship. A really long relationship.
What defines a long relationship? That's subjective too.
Yeah. I mean, for some people, like, a really long relationship can be like a year.
Yeah. But also, I don't think it's a sexuality to be attracted to only one person for an extended period of time. I think that's just, your preference is that person.
Yeah. I feel like it's just person's name sexual.
Yeah. I am PROCULSEXUAL.
Asexual. An orientation where one is unable to articulate how or to whom they feel an attraction. I was like, this just sounds like puberty. Help, I feel attraction. Where did it come from and who's it for?
The sexuality is for a person. What if it's for a smell? Or if you looked at like a certain time and like
You never know though, because you don't know
Yeah.
how you feel this.
Wow.
Like cocaine.
Yeah.
My sexuality comes out of nowhere, and then I'm just left on.
Yeah.
Anyways, next one. Reciprosexual. A person that only feels attraction only if the other person feels attraction to them at first. This has to be like a said thing, right? A made obvious thing. Like a person says, I'm attracted to you physically,
Yeah.
visually, sexually. And then you're like, oh, now that you said so, me too.
If the only thing you need to be attracted to a person is for them to say, I'm interested in you. But what if they're like,
But what if
gross?
what if you're not interested in them?
Yeah. But you're only attracted to the fact that they're attracted to you. Or I assume that's what it is. And this Nazi guy wasn't attractive until he said he liked me. And now I like him.
What if you're monogamous or whatever you want to call it, and then someone else comes along and says, hey, I like so-and-so. And you're like, oh no, more than one.
Like, one person being attracted to anyone who's attracted to them
Yeah,
at
so
the
like,
same time. Yeah.
I don't know. Something to do.
There's no guessing then, so that's cool.
But what if you're like waiting your whole life and nothing happens? Time to wait for Prince Charming or, you know, the girl of your dreams or whatever else.
Yeah.
The next one is this one. They were like, oh, you can't be this unless you are this. Okay, so the next one is called sentisexual. Your orientation is fluid when sensory overload happens. And they're trying to say that only certain people can experience sensory overload, which is not true.
Why are you having attraction during an overload?
That makes sense to me because you're kind of experiencing everything at once, and so it kind of becomes fluid, like almost scrambled, I want to say.
I mean, it makes sense, but it's like, are they putting it in terms of you're having sensory overload while you're doing something sexual?
No. It says your sexuality changes when you experience sensory overload, which can be from anything.
Usually, if you're experiencing that, you're like trying to calm down. And it's like,
you calm down into smaller things,
yeah.
static
So, like,
things.
who's like going through sensory overload and like experience probably like on the verge of like some kind of anxiety attack? In that sense, why is it like a sexuality?
A lot of these are like neurodivergent sexualities that you can't use unless you're neurodivergent.
I mean,
You can't use a sexuality. I'm just saying you can't use gender or sexuality.
sensory overload can happen to anyone, not just someone with, say, autism.
Yeah, with anxiety too. So yeah, the next one. This one, I'm pretty sure it's common-ish. Dysphorosexual.
Oh no.
Capable of feeling sexual attraction, but sex repulsed, averse, or asexual due to the act of sex triggering dysphoria.
But you still have the attraction.
I feel sexual attraction, but because of it, that triggers dysphoria because, or I have to see their parts. My sexuality is sex dysphoria. I would not want to consider dysphoria as a sexual orientation. I still have to say, it's the attraction itself, not the feelings that go with it, not something that happens because of it. It's the attraction itself. My attraction to something, not my feelings that the attraction causes. Say this person experiences dysphoria, and they have a sexual attraction to women. That is their attraction. They're sexually attracted to women, whatever you want to call that, gay, straight, women sexual. That is their attraction. Their sexual attraction, their sexual orientation is attracted to women, not the dysphoria. I feel dysphoria because of the sexuality that I feel. I don't consider that sexual orientation. My sexuality is this and it makes me feel like this is a much better way to put it. The next one, magasexual. Becoming more attracted when scared.
That's the thing. It's like Stockholm.
Or more like feeling like thrilled. Because people get like that when they watch TV and, you know, this person murdered a whole bunch of women. And the next one, minosexual. Feeling less attracted when scared.
Oh.
That's also very, very understandable.
Yeah. I mean, I get the attractions when scared too. Like, you have to be perpetually scared of them to continue to be attracted to them.
And the other one is like, I have to be perpetually not scared of somebody to be attracted to them. I wonder if like fear play is a thing.
Honestly.
This one I get. This one's called FRAYROMANTIC. When somebody only experiences sexual and romantic attraction to individuals they are less familiar with and lose interest when they get to know the person. Like, ooh, but you suck though.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
Like, my romantic orientation is I lose interest when I get to know you. What? Like, I only want to be so close to you. And then no.
But if this is like, you're actually together, but once I find out your favorite color, I don't like you anymore.
They like the idea of somebody being a stranger to them.
Yeah.
They like the idea of mystery. The next one is called NONINSEXUAL. Okay, NONINSEXUAL, attraction to masculine or feminine people, but not neutral and androgynous identifying people.
So like, hyper...
More like obviously, REPULSSEXUAL. A label for individuals who experience limited attraction due to being drained of energy for any variety of reasons. Like, my sexuality is tired.
Like, your sexuality is gone when you're exhausted?
That doesn't make any sense. It's like a label for people who experience limited attraction due to being drained of energy.
That's like introverted, but like sexually.
Dang. The next one is PROCULSEXUAL. Having an exception to your usual orientation usually revolves around a single person. Say you're typically this until one person shows up. And you still feel the same way. You still have the same orientation, but with that person, it's different.
I was straight until I saw Angela Bassett in person.
Yeah, but it's only with that person.
Oh.
There's two more. PRESEXUAL. A placeholder term for when someone feels they have not experienced attraction enough to know their orientation.
Well, there were a lot of other ones on that list, and that could have been a thing for when you don't know.
When you have not experienced enough. And then the last one is called I am banosexual. The very last one. Feeling no desire to do sexual or romantic things to someone, but wanting to be on the receiving end.
Oh, so they're only doing stuff to you.
Yeah, that's it. Those are all of them, and I think we found some good flags.
Some of them were good, but others were just really rude.
And others were just like, my orientation is how I feel about my orientation. Doesn't make any sense to me. I think sexual orientation is your attraction to a person, or a thing, or whatever else, an aesthetic, not your reaction to your attraction. That's my opinion. It's not particularly the right opinion, but, people gotta be special. So yeah, that's all. Yeah.